Why not just ignore the culture and tell people the gospel? Isn't that what the Bible requires us to do? No, it's not. And anyway, it's simply not possible. Evangelism is all about communicating, and communicating is about speaking and hearing. How we speak and how we hear are shaped more by culture than by anything else. Take the fact that I am speaking English now, not Irish, not Spanish, not Chinese, not Greek. Like it or not, English is the primary language of our culture, and therefore we all use it. And culture also affects the way I speak. If I were an Australian or a Canadian or someone from some other English-speaking culture giving the talk, I'd still be using English, but I would be saying these things differently. So the way the message is spoken is shaped by the culture. The way the message is heard is also shaped by the culture. Take, for example, a simple line from Psalm 23, Yahweh is my shepherd. What does that mean to a Hindu man living in a Calcutta slum? He has no idea what a sheep is. He's never seen a shepherd, and he has no idea who Yahweh is. Change Yahweh into the Lord, as many English translations have done, and he's more likely to think of Krishna than of the God of the Bible. Tell him that a shepherd is a man who minds wool-covered, four-legged mammals, and you're likely to leave the poor man more confused than ever. The message will have to be translated into both language and concepts that enable the person to grasp what is being said. Graham Cray puts it like this: there can be no culturally neutral media. Everything is freighted with meaning developed in human cultures, and this includes preaching. Think of these two approaches as the helicopter approach and the scuba diver approach. The helicopter approach says that we don't have to listen to a culture because we possess the truth and we think that no one else can teach us anything. Evangelism is about telling people what the view from the helicopter is like in the hope that they will understand and believe it. Here there's no listening, only speaking. The scuba diver approach is one in which says it's okay to be completely immersed in the culture we live in. Culture talks about life now, whereas the gospel talks about life after death. So there's no connection between the two. They are effectively separate. In this approach, there is listening, but there's no assessing. You just accept what the culture is saying. What this course is proposing is a third approach to culture that is neither the helicopter approach nor the scuba diver approach. I'm going to call it the sailing approach. The sailor is neither above the sea nor submerged in the sea, but is on the surface of the sea along with everybody else. And as he is there on the surface of the sea, he's interacting with the wind and the waves, but he's not completely controlled by them. He interacts with them in such a way in order to get where he wants to go to. I'm proposing that that's the way we should be in relation to culture. In a culture, every culture has got something worthwhile to say that needs to be listened to. Every culture is made up of men and women and children who are made in the image of God and created for a relationship with God. And therefore they've got something to say that's important, that needs to be listened to. Even a stop clock is right twice a day. The challenge then is not simply to reflect on culture to decide what is sinful and what is not, nor is it to sit in judgment on our own culture or in any other culture. Rather, it is to listen to the culture, to understand where people are, and it's to listen to the culture to understand where and how God's kingdom is at work in that culture. And then it's to learn to speak gospelly to that culture in ways and forms that people will be able to engage with and understand.